All right, everybody, welcome to the Tokyo session. Let's get serious in trading and crypto, okay? So we're in the Tokyo session. Of course, Tokyo is doing nothing. I need everybody hitting that like button, guys, smashing that like button. It's been a wild day today. Absolutely wild day today. And there's a lot of mixed signals in the crypto market, and I'm talking mixed signal after mixed signal after mixed signal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get serious, and I'm going to break down this market as I looked at it today without any judgment. The other thing I want to go over, guys, is how I trade and how I call trades, because I think a lot of people are confused the way I trade. And I want to show you guys how I trade, okay? And what I'm looking at when I'm trading. So today's going to be actually a training and a trading live. One, because I feel a big move is coming. I've been saying this. But there are some indicators, guys, showing us that things aren't as they seem, okay? So I'm pretty sure I have this market dialed in right now. I just got to see if we play out. But for the most part, I'm pretty confident I have this market dialed in. I just got to make sure that it plays out how we want it to. So hit that like button, guys. I hope everybody made money trading today. Stop losses and profit, all of that jazz. And let's get into the crypto live for the Tokyo session. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you guys here is Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin is the king. Bitcoin, you know, everything follows Bitcoin. So look at this in a different light. You did not break out on this downtrend on Bitcoin. So here you can see Bitcoin never broke out of this downtrend. So there's a couple things that are going to happen here. Either we're going to 87, 88K, or we're going to 96K. There is no in between. That is it. And there's going to be a move very, very soon. And how we're going to be able to determine that move is what Bitcoin does. So pretty much we're going to play it. So here you can see Tokyo's ranging. Again, I come on the live, guys, and Tokyo does nothing. So Tokyo is ranging, but we actually broke the little uptrend. Now, if you guys remember on the New York Live, I know everybody was freaking out. Oh my gosh, we're bullish. We're bullish. Get out of your shorts. Get out of your shorts. I'm in the red. I'm scared of losing money. I'm in the red. That is all fine and dandy. But here's the thing, guys. The reason I wasn't stressed out is because we never broke the downtrend. There's no reason to be stressed out. What we actually did right here is we double topped. Okay, so we double topped. Here is your neckline, and here's the bottom of the channel, which is 87K. So until Bitcoin breaks out, we're going to 87K. But that doesn't mean you hold a trade to 87K. You got to look at your liquidity. You got to look at everything, okay? So potentially Bitcoin goes to 87K. If we go to 87K, that means we break the uptrend. But I want to show you guys the 18-hour right here, because this is the uptrend all the way from here. And this is where it is going to get interesting. We never actually broke the uptrend. White, good morning. How you doing, fam? Okay, guys, so we never actually broke the uptrend here. It looks like we are forming a higher high. But this is the actual uptrend right here. So couple things here. Bitcoin never hit the top of the parallel channel on the actual macro uptrend, which means Bitcoin could potentially go to 102, okay? But I am shorting. Why would I be shorting if Bitcoin could go to potentially 102? Couple reasons. Because we never broke the short-term downtrend. If we break this downtrend and start pumping like crazy, you're looking at, well, ultimately you're looking at about 97 and then 102. Because this 18 hours oversold, guys, it is very, very possible we do go to 95, 97K, but we do need to break out of this area right here. Okay? If we can't break out, we're in trouble. And here you can see that we broke the downtrend here, or we broke the uptrend in the New York session. Hit that like button, guys. Let's run up the live. I appreciate all of you for joining. I know a lot of people are tired of crypto. I know a lot of people are confused what is actually happening. But here we go. So we broke the uptrend here. That was easy to tell. And this was on January 11th, Tokyo. And same thing, Bitcoin. We broke the uptrend. We are forming lower highs on our little downtrend here. Now, there's a caveat to that. The 4 hour is going right down. So the 4 hours pushing down for about 1 hour and 41 minutes. The MACD on the 18 hour, guys, is going straight down. I haven't really seen this before when the 18 hour was oversold and the MACD was dropping like that. Usually the MACD is actually going to be ranging. It is not ranging. It is actually dropping. Okay. So again, guys, if you're just tuning into the live, I'm going to show you guys how I trade a bit today because a lot of people were confused why I'm holding trades in the red when the market is pumping. And then another thing is I'm going to actually break down Bitcoin to a T because Bitcoin matters more than any other altcoin right now, and total 3. So guys, I am in a short. I am in a short on Bitcoin at about 91,400. And I will be looking to ride that short all the way down to 89.9 to 90K. Now, I plan on doing a long live tonight, guys. So hit that like button. Let's run up the YouTube live. My scalp take profit on my short will be about 90,002 to about 90K. I will not get out of my short until we break out of 92.2. Okay. If we break out of 92.2, I'm out of my short and I'm longing all the way to 96K. Possibly. All right. Hit that like button, guys. Let's run up the live. Share the live to your friends and family. I got a really good live for you guys planned, and I'm going to show you guys how to play this market. Because this market is absolutely crazy, guys. Every single which way you can say this market is insane. So five minutes almost overbought. We're almost at resistance here. It could push up to 91.4. I called a short on Bitcoin around this area. I am looking for it to come all the way down to about 90K in the London session. Because we know that Tokyo is ranging, right? MACD is crossed down. 4 hour MACD is not crossed down, but I'd expect it to cross down pretty shortly. Your 4 hours dropping here. And your 3 day is still coming down here, guys. So keep in mind the 3 day KND is dropping. Essentially what that means is the momentum is slowing down in the market. This means that we are going to start dropping. I'm not talking about, there's a possibility we start really dumping over the next couple of days into the 3 day time frame. Okay. The other thing I want to show you guys right here is you've got 18 days left and your stochastic RSI is closing on the monthly and your MACD is dropping on the monthly. So the reason we haven't broken out yet is because you've got macro downtrend showing that we're about to drop. 94K would have been the hit. If we break 94K, great. If we break that 92, we're good. But if not, you can see the downtrend play out. And this is going to start to take an effect closer to the end of the month. Okay, so I'm short on Bitcoin. I don't know if I'm going to hold my short into New York because I know New York likes to manipulate. But we got a really, really strong trend here, but we also got a double top. So pretty much as soon as you break this trend on BTC, you're going to drop all the way down to 87.9 to 88K. And we've been looking at this target for quite some time. And I'm going to go over stacks as well, guys, because that is still my top setup. I called off the trade in our app today, not earlier, but just about 2 hours ago. I'm going to actually show you guys what a lot of altcoins are doing and how you can capitalize on these altcoin fake outs. Because we know everything's a fake out for the most part, at least on altcoins, even Bitcoin too, potentially. So Bitcoin's ranging, you broke out, you faked out here, okay? But you also did break the uptrend here. So typically when you break an uptrend like that, you are going to come back down to the bottom, which would be about 90K. We hit this low right here at 90,001, double bottomed. And then you can see Bitcoin picked up into New York. Didn't even hit the premium high, which is kind of weird to me. Because if you're looking at it here, we hit the premium high in Tokyo at about 92,004, but we never hit the premium high into New York. So we actually had a weaker high into New York. Now, that doesn't mean that we are going to drop like crazy. All it means is that the momentum is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, hypothetically, okay? But again, Bitcoin can potentially, we're just in this little downtrend right here. Again, we could come up to 92 one more time. We got to see how this 4 hour plays out. Olga, how you doing? Good afternoon. So I want to wait till more people come on the live, guys. Then I'm going to explain to you guys how I trade and how I don't lose trades, even when I'm in the red, okay? That's something I want to do because a lot of people trade on the 5 minute, but you guys are missing out on a lot of money in this market. There's bearish divergence written all over the place. You could pretty much turn a grand into 100 grand if you do it right. CJDV, how we doing? So we know Bitcoin's potentially bearish for this time frame, okay? We know Bitcoin did break out too, though. So that is in our back pocket here. Okay, Bitcoin broke out. So we can't be numb to that, right? We definitely cannot be numb to that. That is a macro breakout. Obviously, we haven't skyrocketed or anything yet. Okay, so there you guys go on Bitcoin. I'm going to short. It could potentially hit 91.3, but we should be coming back down to 90,000 and even 89. If you guys are just joining, I see some people joining. I appreciate you guys for coming on the Tokyo Live. This is the downtrend, and this would technically be the bottom around 88K if we break this actual 4 hour. All right. Okay, so I'm going to set an alert because I need to know if Bitcoin breaks out of this shorter time frame here. Again, guys, Tokyo is just ranging. Anytime I do a Tokyo Live, we're just ranging, really. Okay, now I want to talk about stacks because I got a lot of feedback this morning about why I'm holding this trade when it's pumping to the moon. I'm going to show you guys something about trading. A lot of people trade on the 5-minute, okay? And I don't want to sound cocky or anything, guys, but my win rate is really, really good. I'm talking 95 to 99%. I don't lose typically. That doesn't mean I'm not in the red. I want you guys to understand this. I'm in the red a lot. I am in the red a lot. But here's what I'm seeing with stacks. Now, I did call off the trade. I'm going to give you guys the perfect setup here in stacks. Rising wedge broken for the first time. Rising wedge broken for the second time. Okay? Bitcoin ranging. Fine. You broke out right here on stacks, and it looks like you're going to have a fake out, right? You broke out right here. We'll see what happens if it fakes out. Now, here's the thing, guys. Nobody should have got out of stacks. It was 3 to 4x leverage, and it was a 40-cent 5 trade stop loss. So there was no reason to get out of the trade, guys. All right. But I'm going to show you guys this right here is what I mean. A lot of people get scared when they're red. They're down 30%, 50%. As long as you have your stop loss in place, you don't need to be scared. Let it hit your stop loss, lose the trade, or win the trade. Now, what you guys can see right here is my stop loss was 0.45. Okay? Never hit it. So I stayed in the trade, right? There's no point. It never hit it. But stacks is absolutely going to dump very, very soon. So you've got bearish dive on your 4-hour time frame. You've got 8-hour dropping, your 18 hours dropping, your dailies dropping. Like this is going to come all the way back down to 23 cents. Not in one shot though. We're looking at about 30 cents on stacks. But what I want to show you guys is how I trade, okay? If we break the uptrend, and this is so people don't lose money because a lot of people are scared. Oh, New York session, we're pumping. I'm down 50%. Oh, no, I should get out of the trade. Now I'm going to lose money and have a losing day. That is not how you should trade. The trend is your friend, right? So, and the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people lose money when they shouldn't lose money. There's no point. Stacks didn't even really move. It went from 36 to 40. My entry was 38. There's really no movement there on a Forex trade, right? So here we go. We broke it. We back test. We faked up. We came down. That's fine. And then we faked out. We came up to the top of the channel, guys. Now, you know how I knew this wasn't going to break out? Because we broke the uptrend already. Guys, we broke the uptrend. There's no uptrend on stacks no more. All we're doing is ranging right here, right here, right here. That is it. That is it, guys. We're just ranging. So I want everybody to understand something. When I call a trade, because I don't think I put this on the live. Loza, what is up? Mini Moog, what is up? Guys, when I call a trade on a mid cap or low cap, I am only going 3 to 5x. I am not going higher than that. Never, 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 never. I will never go higher. If I say I'm going 7x or 10x, I'm actually explaining it on the live. Okay? But this trade is bearish. It's not bullish, right? Look at this. It already broke the rising wedge right here. Even if right now it pumped up to 40 cents, I'd be okay. Why? Because I know my stop loss. Well, 45, that's fine. I know we have a double top. I know we have bearish divergence. And again, guys, look at your weekly time frame on stacks. I want everybody to make money in this trade. That's why I'm going over it. It's just like Chili's, right? Same thing with Chili's. Everybody's like, Chili's is dumping, dumping, dumping. Now look at Chili's. That's almost 5 cents, right? Same thing with Ave. Ave was pumping like crazy. Then it went down to 45. You guys got to be patient if you want to make money in this market. This market is not a scalping market anymore. You can scalp and take profit, but you're going to make the most money trading crypto, holding trades for a week at the top or at the bottom. And that is how you're going to make the most money in these trades, because the reality is we're very, very bottomed and we're very, very topped, but only do it once the trend breaks, right? So let's see here what is happening with stacks. So where I would get into this trade at this point is now it's probably going to fake out again. I would set, okay, so here's your caveat to this potential trade. We broke out, kind of. Okay, we did break out. No, we broke out. I called off the trade. We broke out. However, now I would not get into stacks until it breaks. And I'm talking high leverage at this point, not 3 to 4x anymore. Okay. I would not get into stacks anymore, guys, until it breaks this 200 SMA, okay? We're going to do this a bit different because we can see stacks that's bouncing up and down, just like Ave did a long time ago. But instead of doing 3 to 4x, you're going to do 7 to 10x and make the same amount of money on the drop. Okay? So you want it to break the 200 SMA at this point. This has a massive death cross, guys. Massive death cross. This is going to be a dynamite trade. And if you forget this trade and you leave this trade, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So essentially what I'm doing, guys, is I'm getting into the trade when it breaks the trend, okay? I'm not getting into the trade when it breaks the trend. I'm actually getting to trade on the back test. This is where I entered yesterday, around 38.4, 38.5. It back tested, perfect. So that means hypothetically it should come back down to the bottom. Now, for a lot of people that say, why would you hold a trade when it is red? I'll tell you why. Because you've got a 4%, you've got a 3% range, which is why my stop loss is which is why my leverage is very low. The market is going to take your money all day, guys. You need to make sure the market doesn't take your money. So if I have a 9% drop from here to here, okay, so let's say you're doing some math, and I'm going to show you guys this in my training in February. We're going to do a massive training with you guys because this market is absolutely messed up, and it is faking people out. It is getting in people's minds, guys. I haven't lost a trade except for that one that I got out, and I think that was in the beginning of January, but I even told you guys I got out of that trade. So if I know I'm 3 and 4x and I know my stop loss is 45 or let's say 41, my liquidation would probably be about 47 to 50, okay? So if my liquidation is 47 to 50, my stop loss is probably going to be about 42, 41, at least just a bit above, because if it breaks out. I know I have a 3% buffer typically, okay? A 3%. This is a 5% buffer, but if you're on 3 or 4x leverage, you're fine for it to bounce around in this area. Okay. And what that essentially means is that the only way I'm losing this trade is if it breaks out. There is no way I'm losing this trade. Nada, zero, zero. No way, unless it breaks out. So if I know it breaks out, then I'm losing the trade. It makes a lot of sense, right? But I'm okay losing the trade if it breaks out, because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the loss and I'm going to flip to a long. 90% of trades will not fake out when you break a trend. You got to come back to the bottom of the trend or the top of the trend. If I can give you guys anything in cryptocurrency or trading, once you break a macro trend, and I'm talking about a 1 hour time frame, I'm talking about a 4 hour time frame, you typically will not come back to that trend. You won't break it, because buyers and whales will not re-enter the trade. They just won't. Yeah, there might be liquidity pushes, there might be stop hunts, there might be all of that, but you're always going to come back down to the bottom or the top. 100%. And the other thing is too, guys, you got to look at your RSI, right? We already broke the uptrend here on the RSI. By the way, guys, if you're not shorting Bitcoin, I'm in a Bitcoin short at 91.4. We are probably going to crash and burn. We'll see what happens. But essentially, here's that resistance on stacks. It didn't break it. We're dropping. Now, looking at this trade a bit more in depth of how you guys make money, you can see that we bounced off the conversion line. So where I should have did a bit better yesterday was knowing my conversion line. We bounced off of it. We pumped. Now we're going to come all the way back down to the bottom, guys. So where you're going to get in this trade, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on this trade, is below the conversion line, below 36.8. Okay. 36.7, 36.8, this is absolutely going to crash and burn and possibly even break all the way down here. But I'd be taking profit around 36.3. Now, if you guys wanted to get into it now, you wait for this little trend to break right here. This is a fake out, and you get into it with a stop loss above 39.5. Otherwise, you go higher leverage, non-financial advice, protect your capital, higher leverage, and then it drops all the way down to 32. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is because a lot of people are trying to make quick money. Guys, go to the Christmas live on Chili's a week ago. December 25th. Does everybody remember Chili's, right? 5-4, okay? Broke out. Everybody was freaking out about Chili's coming down, dumping. I got out of the trade. Why'd you get out of the trade? We broke out. Oh, because I'm in a loss and Chili's is dropping and stuff like that. Nope. Chili's actually just back tested the trend. And then, of course, everybody got in my head and I got out of the trade. Same thing with Aave 145. So what I'm seeing, guys, is these trades are playing out. You just need to give them a bit more time. And if you can give them a bit more time, you're going to get a major pump all the way to 12 cents, and you can make $50,000 off of a couple grand just by playing your trend. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. But don't be getting scared just because you have price action, right? I haven't done a live like this for a very long time because I don't like getting after people, guys. But if you want to be a successful trader, you need to stop being fearful in this market. I almost took the loss on stacks this morning, almost, because so many people are like, what are you doing holding the trade? I kept it. I didn't take a loss. I actually made some money, and I got back in at the top. And on top of it, I ended up shorting Bitcoin because we broke the trend, right? So you guys can see how things are playing out. Like, imagine you longing at a grand on Chili's and holding it all the way to January 15th, guys. You're making $20,000, $30,000, right? Or even $15,000 at low leverage. Even though this market is a scalping market, this market is a swing trading market for multiple days. because they are playing out. You just need to be a bit patient, okay? So I'm sorry if I had to, whatever, but I just want to show you guys what I'm seeing, and I don't hold trades in the red. I don't do that. I would never hold a trade in the red, ever. The only time I'm holding a trade in the red is when we're breaking the trend. Why? Because we're probably not going to go back above that trend, right? So if you guys are looking to get back into stacks at the break of the conversion line, which is pretty much right here, or you could get back into it. 1 day waiting on Chili's would have made the difference. Yeah, man, like 3 days waiting on Chili's. It's like Ave, I would have made 30 grand. Chili's, I would have made 25 grand. But sometimes on the YouTube live, I get a bit weird because people are like, oh, we're bearish, we're bullish, and then I get in my head. I'm holding the stacks trade. I'm holding my Bitcoin trade. At some point, you need to have commitment to what you believe, right? It's just hard being an influencer, guys, because I hear what you guys are saying, and then I backtest it on my own. And you can also see here stacks is forming a tweezer reversal right here, okay? So if stacks is potentially dropping, what do you think Bitcoin's going to do? Bitcoin's probably going to drop, right, with it. Now, again, some people might not agree with holding trades in the red, guys, and I'm completely okay with that. Do not hold a trade in the red if you're in an uptrend or a downtrend and you're going the other way. Make sure the trend has broke, right? All right, guys, so that's kind of what I have to say on that one right there. Bitcoin short all day, all day. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed that a bit and showing you guys how I trade. Another thing too is if you guys are getting scared, and I'm going to use stacks as an example here. If you guys are getting scared being in the red, that is fine. It is okay to be scared being in the red. But all you got to do is look at your RSI, okay? Take this resistance from right here to right here. It didn't break out. Take this trend from right here to right here. It broke out. Okay? Now, what that means is it broke out. It broke to the downside. What that means, guys, is that essentially this is going to drop. Okay? And you guys are seeing it right here. Sure, we had New York pumping the market a bit, but like at the end of the day, it's just liquidity. It is just going for liquidity. Now, if we broke out right here, and I'm not just saying a breakout, I'm saying a back test and breakout. I'm already stopped out if we broke out right here. Now we're going to fly. And then we're going to go on a major pump, right? So stacks is still my trade. Bitcoin is still my short, and we should be able to ride it. Well, that was weird. My computer just blinked. We should be able to ride it all the way down to 33.5. Okay. All right. I hope you guys are enjoying the live. That is a bit of training for everybody, guys. I know people like scalping the 5-minute, or people like getting out of trades, right? But when you break the trend, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to exit a trade when you break a trend. You're going to have liquidity. You're going to have stop hunts. The best trader in the world, guys, makes, you ready for this? One of the best. $100 million a day. Yep, $100 million a day. And guess, since there's stacks is about to drop and you missed a bit of training. So I called another short on stacks. You missed a bit of the training and showing how I trade trend lines. But essentially all I said is if the trend breaks, there is no reason to get out of the trade, even if you're in the red, even if you're losing, right? Now for scalp trading only, that is a bit different. But for swing trading and making the most money, there's no reason to get out of the trade. Now I'll show you guys on render how this played out here. So like I said, the best trader, guys, makes $100 million a day. Guess what he does? I'll tell you what he does. Does he trade crypto? He trades Bitcoin and a couple of other ones. 100 million bucks in a day. This is what he does. Now, render is a stop loss. So there will be trades you're going to lose, right? I believe. Let me see. So if we go here. Yeah, render, you would have got stopped out all day, but it is what it is, right? Like some trades you're going to lose. I would have never, maybe Forex. It depends where my, he trades 1 billion. No, he doesn't trade 1 billion. He doesn't trade 1 billion. No. He does trade millions, but he doesn't trade 1 billion. What he does is he waits for the break of trend. Okay. He backtests that trend. He holds his trade for a week. I don't know. Holding a trade for a week is kind of iffy a bit. He sets a stop loss. Okay. And he sets to take profit. And guess what? He doesn't open the trade. He doesn't even look at the trade. He goes to bed. He hangs out with his family. He doesn't look at the trade. Never. Not once. Comes back in 5 days. Oh, it hit my take profit. I just made 50 mil or whatever it is. Because when you look at price action, I'm going to do a training on this for everybody. Let me ask you guys, let me ask you guys a question. If your wife and you are at a bar and you see a guy talking to your wife, getting all close, having a conversation, maybe tapping her shoulder a bit, I don't know, flirting with her pretty hard. How many of you are getting uncomfortable? I'm curious. Or husband, same thing. Wife, same thing. How many are getting uncomfortable? They're talking to your significant other. They're having a drink. You know, you're laughing. It's like, wow, they're getting pretty close. Who is actually getting uncomfortable? The phone's out. They're talking to each other. They're showing Instagram, all of this stuff. I want to see CJDV, you're getting uncomfortable. Okay. Anybody else? Time to leave the bar, spiraling. Okay. She's all yours. Okay. Any other feedback, guys? I asked him if he's buying us all drinks all night. See, I like that, sister, right? Well, the point I'm trying to get is, guys, when you see price action, and if you know your TA is right, you're second guessing yourself. You know your wife is loyal. You know your husband is loyal. Okay, now trading, there's money involved, which is a bit different. So all you got to do is set a stop loss just above. And if it hits it, it hits it. But that's it. You know it's probably not going to break this high right here, and then you're going to come back down. Right? Now, personally, if that's me, go ahead. Go talk. Go laugh. Buy a drink. Hey, buy her 5 drinks. It's not on my bill. I'm okay with it. Sure, add her on Instagram. I'm fine with it. Why? Because I have that mental clarity in my mindset. But like I said, guys, render, you would have got stopped out. So it doesn't always work. Okay? That is how I trade. That is how I trade. And I see some people, man, like, why are you holding that trade? Why are you holding that trade? And then I get in my head and I start thinking, you know, why am I holding that trade? And then I go back and look at the trade after the live. I'm like, all we're doing is just stop hunting and going for liquidity grabs. That's really it, right? Lode, you'll have to rewatch the live. But I'm giving you guys that analogy. Now, let's say Bitcoin's on an uptrend, right? Or I'm going to use stacks as an example. And the reason I'm doing this training for you guys is because we're not really doing anything in the Tokyo session. I want people to make a lot of money in this market. And there's about to be a really big drop. And if people don't understand that things are really, really topped out and breaking their macro trends, you're going to miss out on a lot of money. So again, if I'm in a short, and this is different, if I'm in a short on a trade and it is in an uptrend and I'm losing, I have a stop loss, but I'm losing, I'm probably going to exit the trade because I know we're in a really, really big uptrend, guys. Okay? That is when I am going to exit the trade. Same thing. If I am in a long, Cam, I would only get into stacks if it breaks. I don't know. I wouldn't get into it yet. It is still above the conversion line. I would say if it breaks this area right here, low leverage, because now you're at the trend. Right? But potentially we're really waiting for it to break this double top. It has a huge death cross coming up. Furthermore, guys, if I'm getting into a trade and we are broken out and I'm in a short, I'm not going to hold a losing trade to get stopped out in the red. I'm just going to get out, right? So for all the new people joining, guys, I am in a Bitcoin short. I am a stack short. I am possibly looking at entering a render short. Now, here's the thing, guys, for New York. New York is all about manipulation. So the reason I don't recommend getting out of your trade is because manipulation means that New York can drop it at any point in time or pump it. So I don't really, that means it might even not hit the top of that trend, right? Moises, how you doing? Thank you. Great live. One mentor told me you will always trade for the most probable outcome out of all possible ones. That, among other mantras, keep me level-headed. I never, ever lower stop loss. Exactly. I feel like a lot of people get out of their trades, guys, when their stop loss is getting close because they don't want to lose money, right? So, and I haven't really been able to say this, guys, because I've been sick, but I've been noticing a lot of people are just scared in this market. You can't be scared in this market. If you're scared in this market, trading isn't for you. And that is the cold, honest truth, right? So render is looking good. It did break trend. It is about to have a major death cross here, guys, approaching. Render has crazy bearish dive. See, the difference about stacks and render is stacks at least touched the conversion line. Render did not. Which means that render could come all the way back down to 192. Now, again, guys, Bitcoin is ranging for the Tokyo session. But again, we got to find a setup on render because render is going to dump pretty hard when the market does start to dump. So if you guys could find a setup on render, I definitely would. Jasmine is going now. What does that mean? Pumping or dumping? I believe Jasmine broke out. Let's see here. So again, guys, if you're not in stacks, I would wait till that conversion line or even trend is broken. At this point, okay, no, Jasmine didn't break out. Same thing, Jasmine broke the uptrend too. Everything broke the uptrend, guys. And what they're going to keep on doing is trying to hit the top. Jasmine is going to be a very, very good short. So is there a possibility Jasmine breaks out? For sure. But you can see here, we hit the top of the trend on Jasmine. We also have a macro bear pennant. The 3 days very, very overbought in Jasmine. The weekly hasn't broken out on Jasmine yet. Do we have a bit more room to move up on Jasmine? For sure. Man, it seems like this is clockwork. New York manipulates and London dumps and Tokyo ranges for the most part. If I was looking at a trade on Jasmine, guys, I probably would be looking for a short. I would be looking for a short at the top. Possibly, or even a short right here, but I would definitely be looking for a short in Jasmine, 100%. That MACD is pointing right down. That 4 hours pointing right down. Yeah, Jasmine is going to be a dynamite trade. I know, Cam, you don't want to hear a short for a coin that's looking like it is going to pump. But again, every sign is showing bearish on Jasmine. And you know what? Jasmine can drop 52%. So I would definitely keep an eye on Jasmine. This is really going to be a good setup. You have this major support right here. And you did hit the bottom of the channel. So you hit the bottom of the channel, you pumped. You're ranging, you never hit the bottom of the channel again. And you have a death cross here with Jasmine. Now again, guys, I'm going to remind you this again. Price action, emotions, price action, okay? Pay attention to price action. I'm not saying don't pay attention to price action, but what I'm saying is anytime people see green, they're thinking money and long. Anytime people see red, they're thinking protect my money and short. That is how the human mind works. I don't typically pay attention to price action. I'll be honest with you guys. What I pay attention to is this. Top wick, bottom wick, middle, no trade. Top wick, bottom wick, middle, no trade. What I mean by that is if I'm looking at Jasmine right here. Actually, shout out to you, Cam, because you just found me a really, really good short. Really, really good short. I forgot about Jasmine, okay? So I wouldn't be shorting it down here, though. It would have to break, right? If anything, I'm looking for a short up here or after it breaks this area. But basically, when I trade, guys, I don't see any of this. This is pretty much in my blinders. I don't see it. I only look at this right here, and I only look right here. I'm going to tell you guys why, because that is when I'm going to make the most money. I am going to long or I'm going to short. I'm not going to get in the range and I'm not going to play the game. Unless you're a 1 minute scalp trader, this is completely not to you. This is to people that really want to make the most money in crypto. And let's say Jasmy was bullish for the fun of it. I'm also going to look at my trade, and I'm going to see if it is a 1 to 3 trade. Okay. I'm going to look at if it's a 1 to 3 trade. And let's say I'm longing Jasmy, guys, right? I'm going to take my long position, and I'm going to set my stop loss below my fair value gap or my area right there. And I'm going to look at that. And that is a 1 to 6. And I'm going to take that trade all day. Now, let's say I was thinking Jasmy was a short. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my short position, and I'm going to short it all the way down to here, and I'm going to put a stop loss up here. Well, that is a bad trade because I only have a 27 ratio, which means I'm willing to risk $1 for 27 cents. That's absolutely horrible. Okay. So just a couple of things, guys, I wanted to do in this live for training with you guys and showing you guys a few things. I know Tokyo is quiet for the most part. Can I look at night? Can I look at VVV? For sure. I hope you guys enjoyed that training. I haven't really been able to do a training with you guys because I've been sick. But there's a reason I'm a very profitable trader and I barely lose. I follow things to a T. And anytime I call a trade, guys, if we lose that trade, it doesn't matter. We could basically go for the same trade at a higher area. I really make sure that I'm looking over my trades very, very well before calling trades. I don't just call trades because of price action. So render, we would have got stopped out if I called a short there, but I didn't because I seen the range of how high render can go, right? So guys, it does look like London is going to dump again, possibly. Night may have bottomed for a long. Okay, so night is looking pretty good. The thing about night that I don't like at the moment is you can see we hit the top of the channel once, twice, 3 times. We did break out, okay, which is good. But if you're looking at the channel, night still can drop down to this previous low right here, which is all the way down here around 0.53. Your 4-hour MACD is going down on night, and your 4-hour is completely dropping on night for another 50 minutes here. So there's a possibility that this does go up. But we need to break this little downtrend that we're in on the 15-minute. So sure, this could absolutely go up to 6.9. But initially, night is looking fairly bearish to me. Another thing is too, guys, we did break the uptrend here, but this could go to 6.9 in the shorter term. If it breaks out of 6.9, you are going to play that double bottom and you're going to go to 8.2, right? Okay, I do want to look at Tether DOM. Not good, not good. Did I explain that pretty well to you guys and kind of how I do my own trades and stuff like that and how to take the emotions out of trading? Does it make sense to do that? Calman Trading, how you doing? Thank you for coming on the live. Chili's NXMR. Yeah, I don't even want to look at Chili's because I got out too early. I knew I should have held that trade to 12 cents. Or at least 5 cents. I called Chili's at 3.5 at Christmas time. And I'm not, I don't know. It is what it is. So anyways, we've got USDT.D, guys. Very, very bullish here. 3 days oversold. It looks like we could pump up to 10% on Tether DOM. I don't like the macro, but the monthly is still going up here. Whereas the monthly is dropping on Bitcoin, but the monthly is still going up on Tether DOM. That's not good. So it looks like Tether DOM can pump and break out to about 10%. Where the heck would Bitcoin go if Tether DOM broke out to 10%? Really? What level would Bitcoin be at? Okay, XPR. Thank you guys all for joining the live today. I'm just trying to make everybody money at the end of the day. It's very, very hard in this market to not be emotional. But if you guys could take out your emotions out of trading and be okay with losing and being in the red, you guys are going to make a lot of money, especially in this bearish market because we're bearish. All right, so XPR is looking okay. XPR is looking okay. Let's see here. Okay, so here's the thing about XPR. We are in an uptrend. Is anybody shorting Bitcoin right now, guys? Yeah, XPR is looking pretty good with the inverse head and shoulder here on the daily. Did we break out this little downtrend right here? We didn't. So we have a downtrend right here, guys, on XPR, which means it could come all the way back down to here. Because it is in an uptrend, but you never hit the bottom of the channel. If you do break out on XPR, we could pretty much pump all the way to 008. In that area right there. So I would set an alert on XPR right there. Short everything but XMR. I'll take a look at XMR for sure. That is the conversion line breakout too. But XPR can come all the way down to 001. Yeah, 001 on XPR, guys. If it breaks out of here, though, it'll break that conversion line. It'll go up. I don't see much things breaking out right now. I just don't, if anything, because we're completely overbought. Overbought, 3-day overbought. I would say stacks and render would probably be my favorite trade at the moment, and definitely Aave. I don't know if you guys remember the OG people, but I was telling everybody to buy XMR all the way down here when we went to $100. And I said, hold that for a year or 2 years. Tim, do you remember that? CJDV, do you remember that? And everyone said, oh, XMR is blah, blah, blah. It's the rug. It's the rug. Well, here's your rug. Just 600x. XMR is very, very bullish. I don't know if I'd be trading this myself at the moment, but we did break out. So if we broke out, all-time high. We're breaking out of all-time high. Yeah, XMR broke out of all-time high for sure. Not too bad. Monero's looking pretty good. And then if you're looking at your first take profit around $781 and then ultimately $1,400 on XMR. Not looking too bad at all, guys. Really, really good. Privacy coins are moving. That's usually when Bitcoin gets bearish. That 18 hours is just so weird, but it is what it is. That 4 hours drop in here for another 47 minutes. Yeah, guys, Bitcoin is really just ranging. Okay, let me look at XRP and see what XRP is doing. We had bullish divergence on XRP, guys, and it is invalidated. This is how you know that altcoins aren't bullish right now. They're just not. Bullish dive on Bitcoin or on XRP. And we haven't moved at all. So you kind of know that XRP is probably going to come down to about 185. If we look at our liquidity gaps here on XRP, look, Stacks is already 37.8, guys. So we're definitely starting to drop here for sure. See where XRP could go to here. Yeah, XRP is about to drop. Yeah. You already back tested your equilibrium. XRP is pretty much looking like it will come down to about 184. Sharp Skill, how we doing? Sharp Skill, Ty Scott, can you please take a look at ETH BTC pair? No problem. If you guys are just tuning into the live, guys, make sure you watch the whole live because I went over a training of how I trade, how I don't trade emotional, how I don't really lose trades and keep out of losing trades. I am in the red sometimes, but make sure you guys go watch that after the live because it is a very, very good training. I actually want to cut that and put it into the training for our app or our website. If you guys are not in our app, let me know in the comment section below. I'll let you know what it is. So Ethereum Bitcoin pair on the 3 day is coming right down. Ethereum Bitcoin did break the uptrend. Weekly is coming up, but not really doing much with the MACD pushing down. Slack, how you doing? Appreciate you for coming on the live. Thank you guys for all joining my Tokyo session. Remember, if you guys want the live schedule, make sure you look at our app, beastlimitless.com. And if we look at Ethereum Bitcoin pair right here, we hit that resistance as well. So we're kind of going sideways here, not really doing much. Rounded top, it looks like we could just roll over and completely dump all the way back down to the bottom. Now, Ethereum Bitcoin pair might range a bit because you're moving up on the weekly. But after this weekly's overbought, guys, you're probably going to dump very, very hard. Market's not looking good, at least not for spot and long trades at the moment. The only question mark I have is this 18-hour stochastic RSI. So there's a possibility we just range until this is overbought. Like 18 hours overbought here too, and the 18 hours dropping. Even in New York, guys, the 18-hour was dropping, so, or the 8-hour time frame. So you know that's manipulation, right? New York just loves to manipulate the market. Don't you think BTC can take weekend highs first before dropping below 91? Possibly. The thing is, we have resistance right here, right? So for me, it would have to break out of right here. But then if we break out of right here, we're just bullish. Like, I don't see us going back down. I don't know. It's a caveat, guys, right now. Dash. Let's take a look and see what Dash is doing. Dash is pumping. Now, Dash is definitely pumping. Absolutely, Dash is pumping here. This is a pump. Okay, so aren't these the coins that were running when Bitcoin was bearish before? Monero, Dash. So Dash did break out of your downtrend. We do have some resistance right here on Dash. I would say Dash could go to about 45 bucks. It did break an uptrend, but it is faking out. And again, this is that is your new trend on Dash. You got resistance right here. So yeah, I'd be saying about 46, possibly 49 if we break out of this area. Possibly. This would have been a nice long right here at 37. But yeah, I could see Dash moving up to about 46, guys. So low leverage maybe on Dash. 18 hours moving up. Daily's moving up. Absolutely. Stop loss on Bitcoin. So my stop loss on Bitcoin. because Bitcoin is really just ranging here, right? So well, if Bitcoin breaks out of here, it will go. Okay, I'm not even drawing my, hold on. I didn't even draw my resistance right. If, am I on log or am I on, yeah, okay. So if Bitcoin breaks out of 91.4, then we are going to go up. But the caveat to that is that you're in a downtrend. So if Bitcoin breaks out of 91.4, this should pump all the way up to 92. It should. So if Bitcoin breaks out of 91.4, then you're probably going to get out and re-enter around 91.2. Let me look at my liquidity gaps. This is just a range. That's the problem. $91.8. That's if Bitcoin breaks out that area right here. So let's see. We did break out of the 15-minute RSI right here. So there's some momentum moving up for sure. You got a 4-hour close here on the 4-hour with the 4-hour pointing down. Yeah, I could see Bitcoin going back up to 91.9 if Bitcoin does break out of the shorter term, but that's like a little 5-minute downtrend. If it doesn't, we come all the way back down to here. I don't know. Bitcoin is just, everything is a wild card at the moment, guys, for Tokyo because we're ranging. I would have to see what this 35-minute time frame or the 4-hour time frame does after the 35-minute close. So again, just so you guys know, whoever's just tuning into the live right now, if Bitcoin breaks 91.9, we are definitely pumping all the way up to 96.5, pretty much. If Bitcoin breaks 91.4, we are pumping up to 92.1. If Bitcoin doesn't break 91.4 or even 92.5, then we can see Bitcoin dropping all the way down to about $90,000-ish in that area. Keep in mind, I don't see Bitcoin breaking this top. We'll have to see. My stop loss is 91.7 on Bitcoin, but yeah, 91.7, just above this fair value gap. See, this is why I didn't want anybody to short stacks if you're not already into it yet, because we're trying to break here, but we're not breaking yet. And we are oversold in the 5 minute. Doesn't really mean anything. If it breaks this area right here, it will dump. 15-minute candle closed above. Essentially what I mean by breaking the 15-minute is, I mean it broke the RSI on the 15-minute. So you did break the RSI in the 15-minute right here. But again, the 4-hour is dropping. You can see the 4-hour time frame dropping here. See what Jasmy's doing. Jasmy's gaining momentum, which is good. Because honestly, I would love for Jasmy to push back up to this high right here. We'll see. The 4 hours coming down. We'll have to see how that plays out on Jasmy. Hope you guys are enjoying the live, guys. Hit that like button. I appreciate everybody for being on the live tonight. The market is tricky, I'll say that for sure. Just have your stop losses set in profit, or stop losses in general. Hey, Pirate Chain is moving. Does anybody remember Pirate Chain? I have some old Pirate Chain. Pirate Chain is also a privacy coin. For those of you that aren't aware of that. So all the privacy coins are moving right now. Okay, let's take a look at Solana. All right, so if we look at Solana, guys, Solana finally hit our double top target if you would have shorted it here. It also did hit the bottom in the shorter term. But we could see Solana has a massive double top. And if you're looking for the bounce of the trend from the prior low to here, I could see Solana dropping all the way down to about 123 or lower. Market makers chilling now ahead of CPI data tomorrow. There you go. A lot of altcoins are pointing towards the drop. But Bitcoin is just ranging. I honestly might get out of my Bitcoin short and just re-enter around this fair value gap. We'll see what happens. Maybe. Let me see if I'm even drawing. Did we break this little 1 minute uptrend at the top here? Yeah, we did. So I got to see how this 4 hour closes before I decide if I want to keep my Bitcoin short. It looks like London is probably going to drop the market. Who is getting tired of crypto, guys? Are you hanging in there for crypto trading? Or are you guys fed up with what has been happening in the market? No drop, no pump, really just manipulation everywhere. Here's the thumbnail tonight, guys. I like showing everybody my thumbnails. Live trading, we are bullish. Breakout, lies. That's the best thing I could show you guys. Can I look at Brev or Brevis? Sure, let's look at it on Bybit. I'm brain dead from 10 years of crypto. We're just in a different market, guys. We are in a different market, right? Yeah, so as of right now, I'm going to keep my Bitcoin short. As of right now. I don't know. This Brev coin is not looking too hot. I don't really see. Yeah, this should be the bottom, but what Ichimoku cloud indicator am I using? I customized my settings. So I'll show you guys in the training when we do our training for crypto and trading. But we customized our settings to work with the number of days that the crypto market is open versus the options or the stock trading market. This Brev or Beavis coin could potentially drop down to here. Okay, guys, so the 5 minutes overbought at resistance here. The 15 minutes almost overbought into London. The 1 hour is just ranging. So let's say we played out this channel. We come all the way down to 90,004 area. I would like the MACD to be crossing on Bitcoin in the 4 hour to handle that bearish scenario. Nothing's really, like, there are some things moving, but not a lot. Not a lot. Dash is looking good. Chili's is looking good. All right, guys. So here's my play. Not much is happening in the market right now. We're probably going to end the live off there. If this breaks out of this area, this little downtrend, I'm probably going to get out of my short. I most likely will get on my short. And then we'll push all the way back up to 92. If not, then we will come down pretty much back to our 90K target. I don't have enough confirmation until that 4 hours closed. So, and the 15 is already overbought. The 5 minute is overbought. There's a possibility we also just range. Because keep in mind, guys, we did break the actual uptrend here. So there's a possibility we range or we push back up to this high right here and just keep on playing that channel. Can I look at hype? For sure. Okay, so we got bullish divergence on hype. Bullish dive on hype, but your macro time frame is dropping. $18-hour, 3-day is kind of pushing down. So here's the thing on hype. 1 hour is very, very overbought. So I would assume that this is the downtrend on hype for now. If you break out of this, you're good, but it looks like hype is going to drop a lot. It is oversold, but it looks like we're going to come back down to 22. The thing about hype here is, yes, there will be small pumps, but I could see hype coming all the way back down to pretty much complete this rounded bottom here on hype. So I see us pumping a bit, dumping a bit, pumping a bit, dumping a bit, and kind of going like that, right? In the shorter term, though, if I'm looking at hype, we got a little rising wedge on the 15. If this rising wedge breaks, we are definitely going to drop all the way back down to 23. So we did break out, but we do have a rising wedge. Typically, a rising wedge is bearish, and then typically a falling wedge is bullish. But if you're in a bearish market, you're going to play out the rising wedge more than the falling wedge. So we are rejecting here, guys. It looks like the 5 minute is coming down at that resistance right there. And it looks like we get into London. Looks like into London, we're possibly going to be overbought here. We'll have to see what happens. Based on the fact that we broke this area, I see us just ranging here and then coming back down to this low around 90,200. Crazy 0074, good morning. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys. If you're managing your leverage, you pretty much could hold a Bitcoin short from 91, even if it goes up to 92, and just not even look at it because you're using lower leverage. And keep in mind, Bitcoin barely moves. But we'll have to see what this 4 hour candle does here. All right, guys, that's pretty much what I got for everybody today. You guys kind of know how to play out the 4-hour time frame. I did a pretty good training, so if you're new to the live or you're just joining, please watch that training, guys. That is very, very good. Yes, I am still trading stacks. Yes, I am in the trade. Yes, I think it is going to be one of the most profitable trades you are going to trade. And if you're not in it, you get into it at the break of the conversion line, which is ultimately the 200 SMA. And then it should come down all the way to 34-ish in that region. So if all these altcoins are looking like they're about to dump, guys, do you think Bitcoin's really going to pump? I don't know. It's a wild card, right? Okay, I hope everyone has a great day, guys. We'll see you on the New York session and tomorrow's London session, 1 a.m. New York session is at 8 a.m. 9 a.m. 9 a.m. CST. And if you haven't join beastlimitless.com, guys. I will be updating everyone with stacks, with the Bitcoin short. I hope everyone has a really, really good day. Good night. Shout out to Gavin on XMR. Hope you guys enjoyed the live. We'll see you tomorrow, guys, at 9 a.m. for the New York chaos, and then essentially at 1 a.m. for London session tomorrow. Set your stop losses and profit, guys, and protect your capital.